Hello everyone, I'm MVL and welcome to my video game pickups for the month of July 2017. Gameplay footage included for every game as usual, and check this out. This is a Vectrex. Now the Vectrex is a console that's built into an old PC monitor. It displays vector-based graphics, which is the type of graphics you'd expect to see in old arcade games. The camera doesn't quite do it justice, the lines are very bright and vibrant, it really is a very unique visual experience. I am super excited to pick one of these up. I've been wanting one for a very long time. A local seller had one and sold it to me for a very good price. There are, however, a few detractors. The item seems to have been previously repaired. I can see sellotape all around the controller. The joystick has an issue pressing up. If you press really hard, it's not that much of an issue, but it definitely does stick. That's not a huge issue. I'm pretty sure I could open that up and repair it. The other issue is that I can't seem to get any other cartridges to work with it. I have also picked up Berzerk for the Vectrex, but I can't show you any gameplay footage for this game because the console isn't accepting any cartridges. I've tried all my usual tricks on cleaning the cartridge and the contacts, but I just can't get it to work, and I'm a little afraid of buying another cartridge in case it still doesn't work. My hope is it's just that particular cartridge, which is a shame because I really like Berzerk. It does, however, play the inbuilt game Mindstorm extremely well, and Mindstorm is just a very blatant clone of Asteroids. And from a classic game like Asteroids to Super Space Invaders. Now this is a really sweet upgraded version of Space Invaders for the Sega Master System. The gameplay is classic and it's super fun to play. It does appear that you don't get those little blockers to defend yourself unless you hit an upgrade, which will be one of those flying saucers from the top of the screen. That does mean you have to play a little better because you can't just hide behind those bases that block the fire from the aliens. A really great game, super psyched to pick that up. Next up we have Hailey Wars for the Sega Game Gear. As I don't actually have a Sega Game Gear, I play my Game Gear games on my Retro Freak, and it looks great to play this on the big screen. This is a vertical scrolling space shooter, and it's so awesome to play this on the big screen. You know I have an affinity and I really love space shooters. I picked this game up and another space shooter from Games World Bodmin. So that's Hailey Wars for the Sega Game Gear. Next up we have Alpha Mission for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now this is an NTSC cartridge, but that doesn't matter for me because I'm playing this on my CyberGadget Retro Freak. It's really cool to be able to play this game. I really love space shooters and this is great. The graphics look great for the system, the gameplay is on point, and it's really great to be able to play this at 60 Hz as it was intended. That's Alpha Mission for the NES. Next up we have Xenon 2 Mega Blast. This is an awesome vertical scrolling space shooter from the Bitmap Brothers, and because it's from the Bitmap Brothers, you know it's going to be really hard and unfair to play. With that said, this game is great, the music is fantastic, my only complaint is that it's a bit repetitive. I also felt that the gameplay was a little slow, and when I tried to play it on NTSC format, the game locked me out as it was a PAL only cartridge, which I haven't seen before on a Sega Mega Drive game. Regardless, it's a really cool space shooter that I have been looking for, and it's really cool to pick it up on the Mega Drive, as getting it for the Amiga will be a bit more tricky to find a floppy disk that's working. Next up we have Mario vs Donkey Kong for the Game Boy Advance. This game expands upon the original Donkey Kong arcade game with many more features and abilities. Mario can do a ton of acrobatic tricks, and there's a huge variety in the levels available. The game looks fantastic, the visuals on the Game Boy Advance are amazing, and like the other games I was playing this on my CyberGadget Retro Freak, so it looked great. Now this game is really fun. My only complaint would be that Mario has maybe one too many abilities, as you're learning new controls on every single level of this game. Regardless, this game is really cool and I'm super psyched to pick that up. Next up we have, for the PlayStation 2, Drakengard. This was a lucky find at Cancer Research, a charity shop which I frequently visit, and it just goes to show if you keep checking those locations again and again, eventually they'll have something good. It just takes persistence. That's how I found Dungeon Keeper, the big box version for the PC. A hack and slash adventure game, not your typical Dynasty Warriors game, as it does seem that you get to control a dragon for elements of this game. I'm really excited to pick this up, and I have been looking for it, Drakengard for the PlayStation 2. Next up we have Shadow of Rome. Rome 44 BC, a place of violence, corruption, and deadly shadows. Fight to the death in gladiatorial combat, use swords, bows, and even severed limbs. The more brutal you are, the more the crowd will help you. Race chariots in the fastest, most fatal sport in ancient history. Sneak through the Senate, gathering clues, solving puzzles, and donning disguises. The fate of Rome rests on you and not getting caught. As you can imagine, I don't know much about this game, I'm just reading the blurbs on the back. Shadow of Rome for the PlayStation 2. Next up we have Wise, the Ark of Napishtim. And I do hope I'm saying that correctly. This is a uniquely deep and compelling action-based RPG, at least that's what it says on the back. I haven't played any of the Wise games before, this is my first venture into this series. I'm a true glutton for RPG games and I really can't wait to get into this. I picked this game up from CEX in Truro. I probably paid a little too much for this game, but it is worth it to get it in good condition. That's Wise, the Ark of Napishtim on the PlayStation 2. Next up for the original Xbox we have Taito Legends. You may have seen that I already picked this game up in a prior pickup video. I got it again because I was missing the outer sleeve to make this complete. An added bonus is that the art card inside was different to the one I had previously. The one I already had Phoenix, one of my most favourite games on the Atari 2600. This one had Operation Wolf, which is a really great game that I own for the Sega Master System. Now onto the PC, I picked up Postal II, Share the Pain. This is an expansion pack for the great game Postal, which I still don't know what you're supposed to do in this game because I just go around killing things and causing chaos. I mean really, what else are you supposed to do in this game? This expansion boasts a 2-in-1 of single player and multiplayer combo, enhancing your single player experience and adding an all-new multiplayer gameplay mode. The 4 game types of multiplayer include Snatch, fight for the fabulous postal babes, snatch the enemy babe and score. Grab, battle to collect all 10 bags, each bag makes you stronger. Deathmatch, I probably don't need to tell you what that does. And Team Deathmatch, again I have a feeling you know how that works. There's a blurb on the front here where Mark Saltzman from CNN says it makes Vice City look like a Disney cartoon. And I would be inclined to agree. That's Postal 2 on the PC. Next up we have Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. This is a first-person game I picked up for around about 50 pence. Welcome to Chernobyl, where man made hell. In 1986, the world shook with the force of the largest nuclear accident ever. 20 years later, the repercussions are only just beginning. New life breathes new terror into the environment of fear, and an invisible enemy reveals the true face of violence. Welcome to the world of mutation and monstrosity, where no man's land becomes one man's land. That's Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl on the PC. Next up we have Will Rock, Locked, Loaded, Possessed. Another random first-person shooter game for the PC that I picked up for less than £1. Raw power courses through every fibre of your being. It feeds your hate and fuels your need for revenge. When once there was weakness and self-doubt, now there is only confidence, power, and grim resolve. You are no longer a man, for within you is the Titan Prometheus. On your hand his signal glows, a reminder that you share not only his power, but also his mission to defeat the gods themselves. That's Will Rock for the PC. Next up we have Games Mania. 10 games for your PC. This contains a lot of Sega PC ports, but there are some hidden gems here. It contains Sega Rally Championship, Sega Worldwide Soccer, Sonic R, Virtua Fighter PC, The House of the Dead 2, Archangel, Dual Shooter, Zing Omaha Hold'em Poker, The Legend of Lua, and Dragon X Gold Quest. Now truthfully I'm not that interested in the PC ports of the Sega games, although I'm sure Virtua Fighter PC looks a lot better than its previous version. The games I'm most interested in are quite hard to find, and physical versions of Archangel and The Legend of Lua, which is a PC exclusive Zelda clone. One of the classic style top-down Zelda games that I'm actually quite excited to give a go. So that's Games Mania, 10 great games for your PC. Next up we have Heroes of Might and Magic 5 Collector's Edition. Now truthfully I already had this game, but I didn't have this version, which includes the expansion and the standalone expansion, Hammers of Fate and Tribes of the East. It also contains a DVD with trailers and things like that. This game is really cool. It's a unit-based strategy game. When you're out of combat you control yourself on the world map with all of your army condensed into one unit, which is your hero. There you can move towards enemies, gather resources and troops, and explore the world map. When you get into combat it turns into a turn-based strategy, which is really cool. Your huge units of troops are condensed into one unit on the battlefield with a number representing how many, which is standard for this type of game. This is really cool. My only problem with this is you don't get to directly control your leader on the battlefield. And they can also make a free powerful attack on their turn, which doesn't really seem fair. Personally I would choose to fight from the front lines, and I would like to see a little more risk in losing your main character. With that said, Heroes of Might and Magic 5 is an awesome game for the PC. Next up we have Totally Role-Playing Games, a 2-game box set including Neverwinter Nights and the Temple of Elemental Evil. Now I do already own these games, but I don't own this particular packaging, so it's really cool to pick this up. I bought this as a bit of a novelty because the packaging is really cool, but Neverwinter Nights and the Temple of Elemental Evil are both really great role-playing games. I've played the hell out of Neverwinter Nights in the past, and I just recently got the big box version of the Temple of Elemental Evil, so I can safely say both of these games are awesome. Next up we have Knight's Contract for the Xbox 360. I got this and 2 other Xbox 360 games at Game. It was a 3-for-2 deal and I needed one more. Knight's Contract is a hack and slash fantasy game. Explore a dark and dreadful 17th century Europe, plagued with witches and foul demons. Now I don't know much about this game, but the age rating on the back gives it a 15, suggesting it contains strong violence, which is good enough for me to play a game. That's Knight's Contract from Bandai, and next up, from Namco, we have Splatterhouse. This is a 3D version of the classic game Splatterhouse. And this game was given an 18, suggesting it contains strong horror, violence, blood, and gore. Delightful. The quote on the back of this game is simply the unmistakable sound of tearing flesh. Experience the gore like never before. The classic 1988 arcade Flesh Fest is back, with an original storyline penned by the comic writer Gorgon Rene. Completely reimagined gameplay, and all 3 original games as unlockables. That's really cool that you can unlock the original games, because I don't own a version of the original Splatterhouse for the TurboGrafx. Super cool to pick this up, Splatterhouse for the Xbox 360. Next up we have The Darkness 2 Limited Edition. This limited edition version of the game comes with some bonus content which doubtfully won't be downloadable as this is second hand. It also came with a poster which was kind of cool. I've very recently been introduced to the world of The Darkness as I played the previous game on the last pickup video. It's been 2 years since Jackie Estacado and I can't get over how silly that name is. Use the power of the darkness and now it wants back out. A sudden attack by a mysterious and powerful new enemy opens the door for the darkness to re-emerge and sets Jackie on a journey to hell and worse. Really cool to pick that up, The Darkness 2 for the Xbox 360. Next up we have Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 Special Edition. Now if you've watched my previous pickup videos, you know I've already picked up Bayonetta for the Wii U. Lucky enough as I was to find that separately, I found this collection for a very good price and I couldn't resist it. And even though I ended up with an extra copy of the first game, one of them was in bad condition anyway. And it is really cool to have the double pack Special Edition. Really cool games, reminds me very much of the Devil May Cry games, lots of hacking and slashing, lots of shooting, bullets everywhere, tons of fun. Awesome to pick these up and I'm sure it will give me some great use of my Wii U. Next up we have Chrono Trigger for the Nintendo DS. This is actually my first time playing Chrono Trigger. The game was never released on the Super Nintendo or on the PlayStation in the EU region. The DS version features all of the enhancements of the PlayStation version with the added full motion video. It also has many options that allow you to be true to the original gameplay, including turning it to one screen and removing the stylus controls. But I don't know why you wouldn't want to take the combat text off of the main screen to have it look less cluttered and to just make it easier to play. This game is really cool, I love RPGs and I can't wait to get started on this Chrono Trigger for the Nintendo DS. Next up for the PlayStation 4 we have Dragon Quest Heroes. The World Trees Woe and the Blight Below. An awesome 3D hack and slash game from the guys who brought you Dynasty Warriors. This game is really awesome as you'd expect. It adds a little more variations to that Dynasty Warriors gameplay with dodging and spells. I got this and the next PS4 game from Console Connections in Truro. This is the Day 1 edition. It includes the Slime Sword, the Goomerang, the Gungear, the Gooey Gloves and the Squishy Rod. Now that theme of slime related puns continues throughout the game, and I'm glad the game includes the option for Japanese voiceover, because there's a little slime that follows you that speaks in the voice of a child, constantly making goo related puns, and it becomes very infuriating. The game itself is very good and there's only one problem I have with it, and that's the crazy Square Enix copyright. If you stream the game on Twitch, you are required to play with no sound whatsoever, and if you upload it to YouTube, you are required to provide 2 lines of copyright in the description. It's not a big deal, it just seems a bit unnecessary. It's the kind of game that I would like to stream, but I probably wouldn't without any audio. Regardless, Dragon Quest Heroes is a great game on the PlayStation 4. Finally, for the PlayStation 4 we have Mighty No. 9. This version of the game includes the Ray expansion pack for free download, plus an art book and double-sided poster, which was really cool and helped attract me to this game. Mighty Number 9 is from the creators of Bomberman and the gameplay feels familiar. Classic Japanese side-scrolling action transformed. You play as Beck, the ninth in a line of powerful robots and the only one not infected by a mysterious computer virus that has caused mechanized creatures around the world to go berserk. Now if you've heard of this game, you may have heard it has mixed reviews, and I can't quite say I completely enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed Megaman games. But I can't really complain as I picked it up very cheap new. I'll probably give this game another chance down the road, but there were a couple of gameplay and animation issues that I really didn't quite like. I didn't like that you couldn't fire your weapon wherever you wanted to, it just went straight. And I also didn't like that in many of the animations the characters' mouths didn't move, which didn't really feel up to pan on a PlayStation 4 game. With that said, it is still really cool to add this to my collection with all of the extra material. And that's it! Those are all of my video game pickups for the month of July. Thank you for watching, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.